taken from such kind of things like IELTS or TOEFL. Well, actually, yeah, IELTS is an essay, right? Yeah, yes, it is academic text, but it is in essay. But the TOEFL one is in multiple choice, okay, and the one on university entrance test is also multiple choice. So this is quite close to TOEFL test. Well, actually, there are two university entrance tests so far, right? 2019 and 2020, and they are quite different. In 2019, English text, I mean, they were given into items. The reading comprehension ones, and then the thinking assessment skill one. So thinking assessment skill one is the one like math, like logical questions, but they are all given in English. Okay, but in 2020 they didn't put that thinking skill assessment in English anymore. They put that in Bahasa Indonesia. In Indonesia, but they still have the reading comprehension question on English. I don't know what happened this year in 2021, but what I can say is that mostly they are the same. Okay, so it relies on your uh, reading comprehension skill. Okay, so that's it. So let's start. So, have you seen my screen right now? Have you seen my screen?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for answering my question. So this is reading tips for TOEFL. But I'm going to give you like a kind of disclaimer first. I'm giving you these reading tips, but it doesn't mean that this is the only way you can find the answer. Okay. This reading tip is summarized based on some books and experiences. But then sometimes it doesn't work that way. Like I'm just going to give you an example. Like if you want to find the main idea of a paragraph, so it's given in the first sentence. You have to read the first sentence of the paragraph. Well, theoretically, yes. As the writer, we need to put general idea in the first sentence of the paragraph, mostly in English text, but it doesn't always work that way. You know what I mean? So it's a kind of disclaimer. If it works, then you can answer these questions by using these tips. But if it doesn't work, then you have to find another way to answer the questions. Okay? But you need to know this. Okay? I don't know whether this is going to help you or not, but we are trying. So that's what we do today. Okay. So yes, let's go to the question. Let's go to. There are some kind of questions in reading, and we're going to discuss one by one. I'm going to start from this. Okay. So skill one. So this is skill one in reading. I have already prepared the question as the examples, but because this is reading, so we need to read first, right? Like it takes time to read. So that's why I'm going to put the example later after I finish with the presentations. Okay? Because it's like taking time to go from the slide and then going to the word I provide, reading the text first and then answer the questions and come back here. And I have already forgot which part and I'm presenting probably. So let me just start with my presentation first. I'll finish all the slides and then we're going to discuss the answers of the questions later. No, we are not discussing first, but I'm going to ask you to answer the questions. Then we're going to discuss afterward. So that's what we are going to do. Okay, can I start now?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, thank you. So let's start. So skill one in reading. Okay. This is quite common question in reading. So you have to answer the idea, the general idea. Let me just say not the main idea yet. You have to answer the general idea questions. Okay, general idea questions. And to be honest, I have already assessed in 2009, for example, in national exam questions. At that time, we still had that UN questions, right? So I analyzed that is good that the government provide everything, like they provide the chart so that the teachers can analyze the UN results of my students. Okay, and mostly their difficulty level is on this kind of question. Okay, this is quite simple. Well, it's quite simple to make this kind of question, what is the topic of the text? Well, topics is quite easy. What is the main idea of the text, or of the paragraph, for example? Or what is the main idea of the text? Those kind of questions are quite simple to be given to the readers, okay, to you as the students. But this is quite, difficult to answer because you have to summarize. Okay, so I repeat. So far, I know that this is the hardest part. Okay, by my student, like they have difficulty in answering this kind of question because sometimes the options are quite tricky. Well, I know they are tricky. They are made as tricky as possible so that they are not easy. And sometimes, yeah, you should understand that I'm thinking that this is going to be the answer, Miss Nay, and that one is also going to be the answers. So you know the kind of feeling, right? Like answering questions of language. So that is not like a math question in which you are counting and then you get the answer if you are doing that correctly. But in language, sometimes it happens like you don't agree with the answer. But well, it happens, but still we have to answer the questions. We don't have any choice. Okay, so that's why I put the disclaimer. Probably that it doesn't work, but if it doesn't work, then you have to find the other way to do it. Okay, but let's just discuss. So these kind of questions are given in many ways. Okay, they're going to ask you to what is the topic of the text, what is the topic of the paragraph. It depends whether it is taken from the paragraph or taken from the text, or what is the subject of the text. Well, it is quite easy to ask the subject. I think it's a level one question. The title is also another way to ask the topic. What is the title? What is the best title for the previous text, for example? Okay, they are asking for the same thing, the general topic, the general idea. Okay, this is quite hard if they are giving us questions like, what is the primary idea? What is the main idea of the paragraph? What is the main idea of the text? Okay, so it adds some more level to the question. Still talking about general idea, but they are adding some more level on that. Okay, or what can we summarize from the text? Okay, that kind of question they are asking us to summarize. Okay, if they are asking the main idea, they ask us to summarize. If they are asking us the primary idea, they are asking us to summarize, to conclude what we read, okay, in one or two sentences. So that's why this is quite, well, it's easy if you are getting the question like, what is the summary or what can we conclude from that paragraph? Well, you are reading one paragraph only. But if there are a question like, what can we conclude from the text? It is not enough to read one paragraph. You have to read the whole text. Let's say they consist of 4 or 5 paragraphs. And then what happened? Yes, so that we can answer the questions. And there are some tips to do it. Okay. Oh yeah. By the way, first of all, before I come to the skill, I do understand that you have already known this. If you got reading questions, what you do is going to the questions directly, right? Yeah, you know that, right?
Yes.
Yes, you go to the questions and then you're going to find the answer on the reading part. That's what you do because your time is limited. Well, actually, to be honest, I myself personally, like, I don't really like that kind of reading because to me, reading is not to find the answer of the question. Reading is a way to improve your knowledge, to improve your understanding on the informations. I don't agree with that kind of thing, but in a test, yes, you have to do it because it is fast. Like you can do it quickly. But we are, our time is limited. That's the problem. Well, if you are reading newspaper, if you are reading books, you have to read that carefully, make sure that you don't misunderstand informations. But on a test, I don't have anything to say besides, yes, go to the question first and then find the information in the passage. If you still have time, sometimes later you can do it intensively. Intensively means that, yeah, you can have even more reading after you finish with the questions. Okay, so first of all, you got the questions, okay, and then when they are giving you this kind of question, let's say, what is the main idea of the text? Of course, you don't have any keyword in the questions, because what we understand, if we have the question, we're going to see the keywords. What are the keywords? Are they talking about, let's say, the general elections? Are they talking about plans? Are they talking about one medical issue, the coronavirus? What is that? What is the keyword? Okay. But if you got this kind of question, you do not get the keyword, because what you get is only main idea, primary idea, subject, title, main point, or whatever you are asked. Okay. Then after the question, go to the first sentence of each paragraph. If you got the question about one paragraph, go to the first sentence of that paragraph. Okay. If you got a question about the whole text, you have to read the first sentence of every paragraph. If they have 5 paragraphs, you have to read the first sentence of paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and paragraph 4, and paragraph 5. And it would be better if they have a kind of thesis statement. You can go to the thesis statement directly on the first paragraph. Remember, the thesis statement is not always in the first sentence. Sometimes they put it in the last sentence of that paragraph. Anybody knows what thesis statement is? What is thesis statement?
Main.
Main goal of the essay, right?
Yeah.
Main goal. So this is something like, what we are discussing right now is the academic reading text. Academic text, you know, in literature, you got some text like narrative, recount, and they are not, they can have different organization. But in academic reading text, it is very important for the writer to put thesis statement at the first paragraph. I remember one of my lecturers at college has once told me, if you write down, your writing is good, not if it is really hard to read it, but if it is easy to read, then it is a good writing. You know what I mean? So good writing is the ones who are quite easy to read. So readers can easily get the point of the information given in your essay. Okay? And that's why, for that purpose, it is very important for the writers to write thesis statement at the beginning of the essay. Let's say that I'm going to write an essay about the impact of coronavirus on education system in Indonesia, for example. I'm going to give a kind of background at the beginning, but then I have to tell the reader what I'm going to write down. So in this essay, I'm going to show you how, for example, coronavirus pandemic effect, blah 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 blah. So that kind of statement that I write, my main goal of the essay, okay, is the thesis statement of the essay. But the problem is, sometimes the thesis statement is explicitly stated, like what I'm doing. Like, what if I'm doing it, then it's explicitly stated. Like, I'm going to write this kind of thing, okay, as the whole essay. So it's easy. It is explicitly stated. So yeah, it's not very difficult to summarize that kind of essay because it is manageable. But then sometimes they are doing that implicitly. So that's why reading the first paragraph, which is becoming the background, is very important. So remember, if you got that kind of main idea question, read the first paragraph well, okay? Try to understand what is going to be delivered by the writer. And then after that, read the first sentence of the other paragraph. Just to make sure that you don't miss the point. Because sometimes you have to summarize, what the content is, but you have to, take some points for the other paragraph. That's what you do. Okay? So that's tip number 1. Read the first sentence of each paragraph or the thesis statement if they have thesis statement. And then let's go to skill number 2 in reading. In the other questions, they're going to give you that kind of question like, the organization of the ideas. Okay? The organization of the ideas is the questions like, how is the information organized? How is the information are organized. Like the first paragraph is given for what, for example, or how is the information in the second paragraph related to the information in the first paragraph. That kind of question is asking about the organization of ideas. Okay, so tips to answer this kind of question is read the first line of each paragraph and look for the words that show the relationship between the paragraph. So this is like if they are asking you to compare two paragraphs, like let's say paragraph 1 and paragraph 3, how is the information in paragraph 1 related to information in the third paragraph? What you do is reading paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 and compare which words show relationship. Two of them, are they discussing what is that? Oh yeah, they are both discussing still the effect of pandemic, for example. Okay, yes, effect of pandemic, and then what is the difference? So you have to compare and find the similarity and the differences. Okay, so that's what you do. Please look for the words that show the relationship. Oh yeah, the similarity, they are discussing about the effect of pandemic, but the difference is in paragraph 1, it is on education, paragraph 3 on economy, for example. So they are quite different, this kind of things. Okay, so what you do is read the first line of each paragraph and please find look for the words that show the relationship between the paragraph. Remember, what we are discussing is academic reading text. In academic text, they have to be organized. And what I mean by organized in English is really organized, Sometimes, if you want to make essay, the writer, ini the perfect one, the perfect one is that you have to write paragraph 1 as the introductions. In our introduction, we should write our thesis statement that, like I told you, becomes the main goal of the essay itself. And then I'm moving to the second paragraph after that. And on every paragraph that I write after that, I should write one idea, right? One topic for one paragraph, and also one topic sentence and the supporting sentences. In English, if you want to write one paragraph, itu harus jelas what the topic is. I'm going to write the effect of pandemic to economy. Oh, that's the topic. And then after that, I have to write topic sentences. The topic that I bring on that paragraph should be written in topic sentence. Topic sentence itu kalimat yang isinya yang menjelaskan topik tersebut, introduction ke topik tersebut. So that is topic sentence. Kemudian my topic sentence should be supported, harus didukung oleh what we call as supporting sentences. One become the topic sentence and then the others are the supporting sentences for that topic sentence. Itu academic reading text harusnya seperti itu. So if the essays are quite perfect, so this is quite easy to understand what the passage is about, because what you do is only going to have a look at the first sentence. Well, sometimes first sentence is not enough, then you can move to the second sentence. Karena kadang-kadang the first sentence is used to trigger, to give the questions only for triggering, what we are going to say in that paragraph. It is possible. Tapi yang jelas ada di, the beginning of the paragraph. Okay, so that's skill 2. Organize. Yes, what is that?
When I found this text, this paragraph, kayak dia tuh gini kayak paragrafnya cuma dikit, kayak cuma 4 baris atau 3 baris gitu. Terus kayak baris kalimat pertamanya itu ya kayak saya yakin ini kayaknya kalimat utamanya nih. Tapi dari kalimat kedua sampai kalimat terakhir dia itu kayak giving example ke paragraf pertama. Cuman dia itu nge-describe example-nya lebih banyak daripada bahas yang paragraf kalimat pertamanya, Miss. Itu ngambil kalimat utamanya dari kalimat utama apa yang dari contohnya itu, Miss?
Okay. If the question is what is the topic sentence, itu sebenarnya clear. Topic sentence-nya adalah the first sentence of that paragraph. Berarti kalau saya dengar dari ceritanya ya. So if I got the story from you, topic sentence-nya adalah the first sentence. Tapi kalau, ini yang agak susah ketika ditanyanya what is the main idea of that paragraph. Karena kalau topik sentence kan sudah jelas, yang dia tanya kalimat mana yang merupakan topik sentence, gitu kan? Yang namanya sentence yang jelas. It is a sentence. It start from capital letter and it ends in points. I mean, it is a sentence. Jelas ya?
Yes.
Yang jadi masalah ketika dia bertanya what is the main idea of the paragraph, sehingga kadang-kadang bringing the topic sentence become the main idea is not enough. You know what I mean? Ini contohnya.
Yeah.
Sebenarnya di ini UTBK kamu itu ada contoh. Nanti mungkin kamu bisa buka. Saya memberikan sebuah, finding main idea. Saya kasih 5 paragraf, 5 paragraf itu saling berhubungan. They are discussing about plants, tanaman sebenarnya. The plants reproduction by seeding, judulnya. Di paragraf pertama, dia menjelaskan that the plant is reproduced by seeding. Yang kedua, prosesnya. Yang ketiga apa? Yang keempat apa? Yang kelima apa? Sebenarnya whole essay we understand that it is the process of reproduction by seeding. Tapi ada poin-poin dari paragraf kedua, ketiga, keempat, kelima yang juga harus kita ikutkan ketika kita ditanya main idea of the text. Misalnya, plants reproduces by seeding that grows from the tiny leaf, bla bla bla. Itu taken dari paragraf kedua. Kemudian paragraf ketiga apa? Paragraf keempat apa? Sampai akhirnya kelima. Itu yang dinamakan main idea. Makanya tadi saya bilang main idea is the summary. Bisa jadi seperti ini, dalam kasus kamu seperti tadi, bisa jadi main idea yang utamanya adalah kamu ngambil di kalimat pertama, but you still have to add some more information from the other sentences. Paham ya?
Yes.
You make a summary from the other sentences. Karena itu makanya saya buat disclaimer tadi. I make a disclaimer. Sometimes it doesn't work that way karena yang jelas kalau ditanya main idea sudah pasti itu levelnya agak tinggi dibandingkan kamu ditanya topik atau topik sentence. Because you have to summarize. Oke? Yang jelas cari yang agak susah. Memang ketika kamu ditanyakan main idea, mungkin kamu pernah ingat kata-kata saya, it has to be like, perfect for the whole text. Perfect in my perspective is that it is not too general and it is not too specific. Maksudnya seperti apa? It is not too, kalau if it is too general, terlalu general, okay, maybe it should conclude something that is not even stated in the text. Dan tidak ada dalam teksnya. And if it is too specific, it doesn't include all written in the text. Paham ya maksud saya ya?
Ya, Miss.
Nah itu susahnya di situ. Jadi benar-benar harus pas dengan teksnya. Nggak boleh terlalu general, nggak boleh terlalu spesifik. Tergantung ya. Kalau paragraf doang sebenarnya lebih simpel. Tapi kalau kamu ditanya what is the whole text, cari yang paling pas aja di antara opsi-opsi tersebut. Nggak boleh terlalu general, nggak boleh terlalu spesifik. Makanya kadang-kadang saya pun lebih cenderung menganalisa opsi. Oke? Nggak boleh terlalu general, nggak boleh terlalu spesifik. Kalau terlalu general, mungkin dia harusnya saying something yang sebenarnya nggak ada dalam teks. Misalnya kayak tadi, ngomongin general election. General election in Indonesia happens bla 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 bla. Padahal di sana cuma ngomongin general election yang tahun misalnya 2000 berapa kemarin? 2020 saja misalnya, let's say 2019 saja. Well, it's wrong, right? Itu terlalu general. Karena kalau kayak gitu, tahunnya tidak jelas, it means that it is too general. Like, it has to conclude something, and it is not available in the text. Oke, kalau terlalu spesifik juga salah. Misalnya, pemilihan, itu terlalu spesifik misalnya. Well, dia berarti nggak bisa menaungi mungkin ide-ide di paragraf yang lain. Yang sebenarnya ada dan become the main important part also on the text. So that's the hardest part of answering this main idea question. Makanya tadi saya bilang rata-rata, that's it. Kesulitan anak-anak kalau saya analisa di pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang justru main idea. Or kalau topik well because it's topic yet not in a sentence, so this is quite easy. But when we are moving to the summary and then main idea, the whole text, nah itu it becomes a little bit complicated. But remember, analyze the options ya. Dan yang jelas harus banyak latihan. Harus banyak latihan. Oke?
Thank you, Miss.
Yeah. Next, let's move to skill 3. Nah, tadi sudah organizations. Now we are going to the detailed questions. Yang detailed questions ini biasanya, ya, it's consider easier, okay, by the students. Karena ini ya berarti detailed questions. Jadi a question like why is blah blah blah, where is that located, for example. Caranya, it's easy. You read the question, kemudian choose the keyword. Keywordnya apa di pertanyaan itu, kan begitu biasanya ya. What is the keyword? Oh, the keyword is the place of general election in 1955. And then you are moving to the passage and find that keyword in the passage, right? Oke, di mana nih adanya? And then find the best answer. Jangan lupa selalu di akhir itu analisa optionnya, kecuali sudah blatantly right? What is blatantly? Jelas itu benar gitu. Tapi kalau masih kamu meragukan, kamu harus analisa options at the end. Apalagi tadi yang main idea itu, saya sarankan analisa options. Kalau misalkan udah jelas where is that located, and then di atasnya sudah jelas tulisannya misalnya Switzerland, ya udah jawabannya udah Switzerland, di bawah itu udah jelas, nggak usah dianalisa, nggak apa-apa. Oke, tapi if you are doubtful, or it's the main idea which is quite, sometimes it's quite tricky. Okay? Makanya ketika di pertanyaan biasanya level readingnya itu di situ, levelnya itu lumayan tinggi yang main idea itu dibanding yang detail questions. Dan karena di UTBK kalau saya tidak salah dia namanya item response question ya, you are score berdasarkan tingkat kesulitan, di mana kalau dia lebih sulit berarti kamu dapat, dan kamu benar, kamu dapat skor lebih bagus kan. Nah, berarti usahakan kamu jangan menghindari soal-soal yang sulit. Oke. Seperti ini. Kamu kalau tidak salah kamu nggak ada minus, tapi ketika kamu dapat benar di soal yang sulit, itu skornya berbeda dengan kamu dapat benar di soal yang semua siswa bisa jawab gitu. Oke. Jadi jangan menghindari soal-soal yang sulit. Okay, next. Nah, yang ketiga itu ya, it is quite jelas. It is quite clear ya. The tips is quite clear. What about skill 4? Yang skill 4 juga sebenarnya sama dengan skill 3, tapi ini unstated. Yang exactnya, yang not true-nya, yang not discussed in the text. Sebenarnya kalau guru-guru di Indonesia, I don't know, kita sudah di training not to give this kind of question. Katanya menurut pemerintah, don't give this kind of question to your student. Karena anak-anak ketika membaca, itu sebenarnya bukan untuk mencari informasi yang tidak ada, tapi mereka membaca untuk mengetahui informasi tertentu. Membaca itu kan purpose-nya begitu. Makanya saya tadi katakan di awal bahwa sebenarnya saya tidak terlalu guru yang you should be able to read to answer questions gitu. No. Tapi on a test, well, we don't have any choice, but we have to have a look at the questions and then move to the passage. Yang jelas dalam kehidupan kamu sehari-hari, saya tidak sarankan seperti itu. Kalau baca ya baca, enjoy the moment of you are reading, jangan sampai miss informasi. Ya kan begitu kan? Karena sekolah bukan kayak bimbel gitu. Kalau bimbel kan kamu nggak diajarin begitu ya, diajarin cara cepat aja. Tapi sebenarnya in the real life it's not true gitu. It's not true sebenarnya. Reading is not to answer the questions, okay? But reading is the moment you are improving knowledge to your brain. You are feeding your brain by getting the information, ditimbang-timbang, analisa. Kemudian you are doing your critical, you giving your critical thinking toward the text, itu harusnya. Tapi dalam tes nggak apa-apa. It's okay because we don't have time to do it. Okay? And then tadi skill 4-nya yang unstated ya. Tapi kenyataannya di soal university entrance test banyak soal reading the passage, except seperti itu kan. Nah, soalnya dan itu banyak. Ya udah, kita ikuti saja. So what you do is choose a keyword in the question, kemudian find the keyword in the passage, kemudian read the sentence, dan kemudian dibandingkan optionnya. Biasanya dibandingkan options ya. Oke, yang ini benar atau tidak, yang itu find the answer that is not true atau not discussed in the passage. Seperti itu. Sama sih caranya kayak tadi, cari keywordnya in the question, go to the passage, and then compare the options. Kira-kira begitu. Itu skill 4-nya. Now I'm moving to skill 5. Okay, and now find pronoun references. Okay, pronoun references is something like, the word we in line Yeah, inline X reverse to blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, I know that you this kind of you got this. Sebenarnya referensi sini saya lupa, ada dua sebenarnya. Ada grammatical reference namanya, ada satu lagi textual, no grammatical. And yang grammatical itu yang apa ya? Jadi dia kasih word gitu, dia kasih word, kemudian kamu ditanya lagi what that does word means gitu. Yang satu lagi yang grammatical itu berarti yang pronoun ya. Pokoknya intinya adalah they're going to highlight something in the passage in the sentence, and then they are asking you where does that refer to. Nah, seperti itu. Mereka referensinya kemana sih gitu. Kadang-kadang jawabannya bisa jadi pronoun kayak to people, to atau mungkin ke sebuah kalimat. This bla 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 bla. Kata this tersebut referensinya kemana? Nah, itu kan jawabannya bisa jadi orang, bisa jadi nouns, atau bisa jadi sebuah kalimat atau sebuah kata kan. Nah, itu yang ditanyakan. And tipsnya, find that pronoun atau find that sentence, langsung cari sentence-nya, ya itu jelas ya. Kadang-kadang mereka juga sudah underline gitu. Kemudian langsung cari nouns that come before the pronoun. Carilah kata-kata benda yang sebelumnya. Kadang-kadang nggak cukup satu kalimat sebelumnya, harus satu kalimat, dua kalimat, tiga kalimat, dan try to find the relationship of that to the sentences. Cari yang kata benda saja. Kata benda itu berarti it can be everything. It can be a person, a noun, a pronoun, a thing, or even a sentence. Ya, kadang-kadang sentence sih kalau kayak this. Makanya tadi beda ya, ada grammatical, ada what is that satu lagi, yang jelas yang kalimat itu. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. Okay, itu caranya. Cari kata-kata benda yang datang sebelumnya ya, di beberapa kalimat sebelumnya, dan kemudian bandingkan mana yang lebih masuk akal untuk menjadi referensi pronoun tersebut. Itu skill number 5. Kemudian skill 6 ini selain yang nomor 1, yang nomor ini juga seringkali diketahui sulit oleh anak-anak karena dia implied detail. Implied itu enggak stated explicitly. So it is implied itu it is inferred. Okay, it can be inferred from the passage that, for example, it is most likely that, maksudnya they are not stating that straightforward, but you have to be able to conclude from what they are stating. So, ya ini lebih susah karena memang nggak terstate langsung. Beda dengan yang tadi detailed questions. On detailed questions, it's clear, like you are getting the questions and then you move to the passage and then it's available there in the passage. Makanya biasanya kalau di soal-soal UN level-levelnya itu paling level 1, level 2. Tapi kalau yang udah implied itu sudah pasti antara level 3 atau level 4. Oke? Soal-soal seperti ini. Dan saya yakin soal-soal seperti ini juga biasanya di UTBK juga soal-soal yang tingkat kesulitannya tinggi, in which you going to get good score on answering questions ya, walaupun nanti tergantung berdasarkan jumlah penjawab kan sebenarnya, tapi biasanya memang agak kesulitan anak-anak di sini. Oke, caranya adalah find the keyword still, kemudian look for the word in the passage, kemudian carefully read the sentence with the keyword, kamu baca kalimatnya, kemudian kira-kira cari option yang mungkin benar, could be true according to that sentence. Eliminasi options setelahnya. Kenapa harus begitu? Karena kadang-kadang ini, they don't really say, ini sebagai contoh saja, they don't really say that this is expensive, tapi mereka menunjukkannya dengan kalimat yang berbeda. Misalnya, it is really hard for the passengers to afford the ticket and blah blah blah. Itu kan imply. Mungkin optionnya kan nanti the price of that is expensive gitu kan misalnya. Ya, you don't really get that is expensive in the text, but you should be able to take a conclusion. Kamu harus berani mengambil kesimpulan. Makanya saran saya sih analisa option saja. Oke, oh iya, afford di sini di atas pakainya afford. They don't afford misalnya, berarti enggak. Buat banyak orang ini ya kemahalan. Oke, samalah dengan expensive. Yang jelas kalau sudah ada satu yang benar dan itu memang bisa dibenarkan berdasarkan logika kamu sama dengan yang di atas, so it could be true gitu. Makanya dibilang could be true. Oke. not that is true gitu. But could be true because you are summarizing. Tapi kan hanya satu jawaban yang benar. Jadi insya Allah kalau sudah ada satu yang it could be true, oh yeah, then it's true, insya Allah. Oke, so analisa option ya. Saran saya nomor 1, nomor skill 6, skill 1 yang tadi analisa options. Oke, karena agak susah soalnya. Let's move to skill 7. Nah, skill 7 ini answer transition questions correctly. Misalnya gini, the paragraph, ini sering sekali kita dapat pertanyaan, the paragraph preceding the passage, preceding itu yang di awal, yang mengawali teks ini mungkin apa? Oke, biasanya kalau yang kayak gini berarti kamu dapat cuplikan saja, kamu dapat cuplikan teks, bukan teks utuh gitu, kamu dapat cuplikan teks, kamu nggak ada judulnya. Kamu ditanya kira-kira paragraf apa sih yang muncul sebelum passage yang kamu baca tersebut, nah itu, atau setelah yang kamu baca, karena kamu dapatnya bukan teks utuh yang terdiri dari introduction. Nah itu kan kalau di UN kan dilarang kan memberikan teks seperti ini, harus utuh misalnya. Tapi kalau di University Advanced Test ya mungkin, karena kamu bisa jadi dapat cuplikannya. Jadi jangan, tidak semuanya mengandung tesis statement, karena bisa jadi itu bukan dari paragraf pertama yang kamu baca, adalah paragraf kesekiannya gitu. Ya mereka mencuplik dari essay tertentu, and they don't really have that kind of introductions in that paragraph. Kemudian kamu harus mikir kira-kira yang mengawali passage ini apa ya, tentang apa ya paragrafnya. Tipsnya adalah read the first line of the passage. Misalnya kalau pertanyaannya preceding, berarti kan yang di paragraf sebelumnya. Oke, yang kamu baca adalah first line of the passage-nya. Kalimat pertama di passage-nya apa nih? Karena seorang penulis, nah ini lagi kita ngomongin academic text kan, their essay should be disebut coherent, harus koheren. Koheren itu harus smooth gitu, perpindahannya ke paragraf tuh harus smooth. Kalau di atas dia ngomong-ngomong apa-apa, ya udah di bawahnya kan harus nyambung sekali. Essay kamu not consider good enough if you cannot make make it smooth gitu. Dari paragraf ke paragraf lainnya itu harus bagus transitionnya. Apakah dia pakai however, apakah dia pakai apa, pokoknya harus smooth. Karena harus smooth, makanya yang dibaca adalah paragraf pertamanya. Biasanya kan line pertamanya yang digunakan untuk sebagai transisi, right? So if you wanna move from one paragraph to another paragraph, yang jelas kamu harus bisa di paragraf terakhir yang awal itu kamu ngomong apa, dan paragraf pertama di paragraf berikutnya itu ngomong apa. Nah itu yang disambungin. Nah itu. Oke? Jadi kalau pertanyaannya the paragraph preceding the passage yang kamu baca adalah first line dari paragraf yang ada. Kalau pertanyaannya adalah the passage following the paragraph following the passage, maka yang kamu baca adalah last line-nya. Nah itu kuncinya itu. Pokoknya kalau yang ditanya paragraf sebelumnya tentang apa, kamu baca first line-nya. Kalau setelah itu ada paragraf apa, kamu baca last line-nya. Karena memang harus nyambung. Kalau last line-nya lagi ngomongin effect of corona, berarti yang kesana efek corona, misalnya efek corona apa gitu. Kita ya udah berarti di bawahnya ya akan seputar itu, kan nggak boleh ngejumping banget dengan yang sebelumnya. Walaupun mau pindah topik, pasti harus smooth, pakai transisi tertentu. Transisi ya seperti kata however, meanwhile, and then yes, sejenis itulah, atau illustrations, ya itu harus smooth sekali. So that's it. Kemudian make up your mind itu berarti ya dipikir-pikir aja kira-kira what comes before and what comes after. Kemudian that is, oke, seperti itu intinya. Next, sekarang yang agak susah adalah vocabulary questions. Yang ini juga agak susah karena kadang-kadang ini ada berbagai jenis. Kadang-kadang kamu dapat pertanyaan, dapat kata-kata yang they are not difficult, actually the words are common, tapi nggak tahu di situ tuh konteksnya apa ya gitu. Atau kadang-kadang kamu dapat yang susah sekalian, yang I don't know what that word means gitu. Oke. Ya it is possible. Nah sekarang apa tipsnya? Nah ini banyak tipsnya sih ya. Well ya disclaimer dulu, kadang-kadang it doesn't work. Ya apapun itu, tapi kita coba aja. Pertama adalah look at the punctuation, comma, parenthesis, dasis, because probably they are the explanation of the word or the paragraph or the sentence. Misalnya gini loh, what is that ya? Misalnya contohnya the coronavirus, biasanya ada koma, kemudian ada definisi di dalam koma itu, ya udah itu berarti adalah definisi dari kata sulitnya. Oke, jadi yang pertama kuncinya adalah look at the punctuation, lihat tanda baca. Apakah ada koma, ataukah ada parenthesis, ada colons, ada semicolons, atau dashes tanda strip itu. Kalau ada, they are the definition of that difficult word. Karena mereka memang dibuat untuk mendefinisikan seperti itu. Oke? Misalnya ya seperti tadi, the coronavirus, koma, koma lagi, kemudian dia lanjut. So that the one inside comma is to define what the word is about. Oke? Jadi pertama perhatikan dulu ada punctuation enggak yang mendefinisikan kata tersebut. Punctuation tanda baca ya, bisa ada koma, ada dashes dan lain sebagainya gitu. Ada titik dua dan lain sebagainya. Oke? Atau kalau tidak punctuation, mungkin restatement. Restatement itu diceritakan, disajikan ulang, dibuat ke dalam kalimat yang lain. In other words, misalnya. Kata-katanya misalnya in other words, for example, such as, that is, or those kind of things, they are used to define, untuk mendefinisikan. Berarti itu adalah definisinya. Itu kalau kalimat ya biasanya mereka memberikan sebuah istilah khusus gitu kan yang kita nggak tahu ya, karena ini kan academic text ya. Bisa jadi you are science students tapi kamu dapet teks yang IPS banget gitu. Istilah-istilah psikologi, ekonomi yang kamu nggak tahu, tapi biasanya mereka juga ngeh kalau ini, oh this is quite new, so that's why they are giving the definitions in those ways. Bisa lewat punctuation, bisa lewat restatement, bisa lewat illustration, whatever it is, kamu harus hati-hati dengan itu. Baca ada nggak yang seperti itu? Restatementnya ada nggak? Kata-kata that is, in other words, for example, itu ada nggak? Kalau ada, so it is restating the definition of that. Punctuation ada nggak? Nah itu. Yang repot, nah kalau nggak ada, nanti kalau nggak ada lagi kita. Oke? Nah kalau nggak ada, ya udah, berarti kamu cari katanya in the passage, kemudian cari structural clues-nya. Oke? Misalnya, kemudian eliminate yang wrong answers. Pokoknya kalau yang nggak mungkin benar, karena nggak berhubungan sama sekali, misalnya udah kamu eliminate saja. Pokoknya untuk yang susah-susah kita eliminasi option aja ya. Oke, kemudian yang skill 9, oke ini juga sama nih. Katanya data, oh iya ini selanjutnya. Kalau masih susah juga, ya itu yang saya bilang kemarin. Word parts are quite important to understand what the word is about. Kamu analisa word parts-nya, kira-kira dia itu jadi apa ya? Ini sebenarnya dari atas sih. Nah, dari sini nih. Oke, word part itu kira-kira dia itu jadi noun, jadi adjective. So, is it an adverb? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Nah, it is really important to understand what the word is about. Oke? Termasuk juga nanti kita analisa affix, atau roots-nya. Affix itu imbuhan. Nah, karena ternyata karena memang imbuhan itu memberikan meaning kan terhadap kata, dan dia juga menentukan posisi. Misalnya kalau sesuatu akhirannya L, international, nah itu berarti dia jadi adjective. Oke, logical itu adjective karena L itu memang adjective. Atau development berarti kata benda. Oke, nah dan ini sebabnya nanti di bagian akhir I'm trying to give you the nanti kita lihat di bagian akhir ada derivation ya, kata imbuhan yang bisa kamu pelajari, oke, untuk mengetahui makna kata. Oke, karena in English kan dia banyak sekali derivation words-nya. Jadi root-nya apa, asal katanya apa, kemudian ditambahin affix, imbuhan, nah itu berarti seperti apa artinya. Oke. Nah, ini sama ya intinya nih, konteks, kamu lihat konteksnya, kemudian baca. Ingat, mereka they are not assessing your vocabulary mastery, but they are assessing your reading comprehension. Artinya mereka nggak nanya arti kata itu secara literal apa gitu, no. Tapi yang mereka tanya adalah the meaning of that word contextually in that passage. Seperti itu. Contohnya, you got the word party. Oke. Nih, kamu dapat word party. Party is quite common. Like, party itu artinya pesta. Oke, atau partai in politics. Tapi kok ini teksnya tentang ekonomi? I don't know. Kayaknya nggak nyambung if it is pesta gitu. Mungkin kamu bukan anak sosial, so kamu nggak tahu arti party bisa berarti company, perusahaan. But in that case, you have to be able to determine the meaning from the context. Oke, ini kayaknya bukan pesta, bukan partai, bukan juga pihak misalnya. Kalau di dalam hukum kan party itu means pihak, kan parties para pihak gitu. Ini bukan nih. Tapi dia jadi kata benda, dan dia jadi sebuah institution. What is that? Ya udah company gitu. Nah itu makanya kemampuan kamu menganalisa word part of that word gitu, itu penting sekali. Makanya tadi saya selalu bilang grammar is important, okay? To improve your reading comprehension kan, because it is helping us to understand what the text is about. Kemudian kita masuk ke pertanyaan berikutnya adalah specific informations. Ini sih sebenarnya kayak detail questions like ini quite specific dan biasanya lebih mudah karena kamu hanya tinggal skimming saja. Lebih mudah karena nggak usah kayak tadi kan kamu harus baca the whole text gitu ya. Itu enggak. Kalau ini biasanya skimming kamu dapat. Oke. Nanti kita lihat ininya. Nah, ini yang the one yang ini adalah the tone, purpose. Kayak yang ditanya adalah writer's tone-nya. Kira-kira si pengarang itu apa tone-nya? Apakah concern? Concern itu kan khawatir gitu. Khawatir. Ada apakah pesimis? Kalau pesimis itu kan dia like, apakah optimis? Ataukah happy? Ataukah dia objektif gitu. Objektif itu ataukah neutral? Nah, itu tone-tone seperti itu harus kamu rasakan. Dan biasanya pertanyaan seperti ini ya harus kamu baca secara keseluruhan sih. Kan ya biasanya cari kata yang showing emotions. Kayak kata-kata kayak showing emotion itu biasanya mereka pakai hedging ya. Hedging itu kata-kata kayak really, very gitu. Very much. Nah, itu tuh hedging namanya dalam sebuah tulisan. Oke. Dan itu yang kamu cari yang biasanya menunjukkan emosi si worried, kata adjective, biasanya kalimat-kalimat kata-kata sifat yang menunjukkan emotions dari si penulis. Apakah dia di sini khawatir atau bagaimana cara dia mengungkapkan fakta-faktanya. Nah, itu seperti itu. Ya, dan ini memang juga termasuk salah satu pertanyaan yang agak susah juga because you have to summarize that. Oke. Now ini sama ya ininya. Kemudian tipsnya kira-kira you have to. Nah, sekarang kita masuk ke reading comprehension word formations with prefix, tense, and suffixes. Nah, sekarang kita ngomongin affix. Affix itu dalam bahasa Inggris artinya imbuhan ya. Affixes. Affixes imbuhan. Imbuhan itu berarti ada awalan ya. Kalau awalan yang mana?
Prefix.
Oke, akhiran yang mana?
Suffix.
Suffix. Kalau yang sisipan tengah?
Stems.
Ayo apa? Bukan stems. Enggak. Di sini enggak ada namanya infix. Di sini enggak ada karena dalam bahasa Inggris tidak ada infix. Oke. Di bahasa Inggris itu tidak ada sisipan. Kalau bahasa Indonesia ada ya?
Yeah.
Apa tuh contohnya? What is that in bahasa Indonesia?
I don't know. I can't
Forget.
Oke, telunjuk misalnya, gerigi, ya betul, gerigi, telunjuk kan, nah itu namanya infix, because you are inserting the affix in the middle. In English, we don't have that kind of infix, makanya nggak ada yang saya tulis hanya prefix sama suffix. Saya pernah sih baca satu buku, they give the word like fun-bloody-tastic, fantastic itu dari kata fantastic, sangat fantastic, but they are saying that fun-bloody-tastic, which means very fantastic. Okay, ini sebenarnya infix, tapi it is not in dictionary, it's kind of slang word, like they use that Australian English gitu, they use that in daily life, but they are not put in dictionary. Okay, jadi secara resmi sih not yet, but we have that in the daily conversations gitu. Tapi kalau bentuk infix sekali ya infix gitu yang dipelajari ya secara official in English kita nggak, di English nggak ada, di bahasa Inggris nggak ada. Berbeda dengan bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa daerah ya, banyak sekali ya. Kalau saya di Sunda tuh kan banyak sekali infix. Oke, now prefix. Kenapa perlu mengetahui arti root-nya itu? Oke. Karena biasanya kamu bisa nebak arti from that root gitu, or the stem. Contohnya gini, kalau kata ebb, ini contohnya ya, ebb itu artinya out of something, like abnormal, out of normal. Oke, absolve itu take something out of something gitu artinya. Ya akhirnya kamu bisa ngebayangin, oh kalau ebb itu begitu, posisi depannya itu ebb. Oke. Ante itu artinya before. Ante itu ada ate apa coba contohnya?
Antemeridium.
Antemeridium itu artinya apa?
Pagi, morning.
Hah? Ante itu kan artinya before.
Yes.
Oke kan? Kalau meridium itu?
Meridium.
Meridium itu noon, siang itu meridium itu siang. Jadi makanya kamu tahu dong kalau AM antemeridium berarti sebelum jam 12 siang. Jadi yang pagi itu 7 AM, 8 AM. Nah itu karena antemeridium gitu. Noon, jam 12 siang ya meridium itu artinya. Nah, kalau PM ya post gitu, post meridium. Makanya setelah itu berarti jam 7 malam itu disebutnya PM. Kayak gitu. Oke, jadi mengetahui itu karena nanti kamu dapat tiba-tiba misalnya antenatal ya. Kalau nggak salah. Ada kalau nggak salah. Pokoknya ada. Nah, kalau kamu ketemu kata ini, root-nya itu ante, ada root itu yang mana ya? Stem itu batang. Oh ya, antenya itu root betul, stemnya itu tengahnya. Oke. Nah, berarti itu ya udah kamu ini artinya before sehingga it makes you easy to guess what it is about. Ingat ya, because English is our foreign language, pembaca yang saya yakin sih tidak semua pembaca juga mengetahui the meaning of all words juga gitu. Pembaca tingkat tinggi pun juga nggak semua kata tahu, tapi but they are able to analyze that well, itu masalahnya. Jadi kamu usahakan. Kemudian ada anti itu artinya against. Well, you know that, right? Anti government, kemudian ya seperti itu. Jadi ya artinya against pasti. Tulisannya beda ya. Kemudian by itu artinya to, bidirectional gitu. Berarti two directions. Apalagi apa tuh yang tiap 2 tahun itu bilenial ya?
Yes.
Ya, seperti itu. Nah, itu berarti setiap 2 tahun. Oke. Jadi by itu artinya 2. Nah, ini sebenarnya tinggal kamu baca aja sih karena banyak sekali. Ini sampai slide terakhir. Ada circum means around, ada circumstance, ada circumvent. Nah, ada call artinya together with. Makanya kamu punya cooperate, collaborate. Ya, itu artinya work together. Kemudian ada ya kayak committee, itu berarti a group working together and so on. Kayak ada this artinya not. Kayak dissatisfied, saya yakin this semua tahu ya, this itu artinya not dissatisfied. Apa lagi? Disability, disorder,
Disappointed.
disappointed, disable. Nah, itu artinya pasti not gitu. Oke, kemudian ada kata in and artinya in, into, inside, enclose. Kemudian ya dan and so on. Kalau X berarti out of something, external, X apalagi ya gitu. Kemudian for artinya ahead, to the front, makanya ada forward. Kemudian im juga sama, not illogical. Apa bedanya? Biasanya kalau sama aja kayak bahasa Indonesia. Kalau kayak bahasa Indonesia kan gitu juga ya. Kalau S berarti menyapu gitu kan, seperti itu ya. Kalau im juga sama, biasa gitu. Impolite. Nah, oke. Seperti itu. Important, itu illogical. Nah, irrational, ini banyak juga ya. Irrational, semuanya artinya not. Inconvenient. Nah, itu artinya not. Jadi kamu bisa menganalisa dari situ arti katanya. Kemudian ada juga inter itu between among, interstate, between state, international, between nation, inter apa lagi? Inter Milan. Inter apa lagi ya? Interkontinen, antara benua. Kemudian those means between. Gitu. Kemudian ada re ini juga sering sekali ada. Kayak misalnya re itu artinya again. Jadi kamu punya revive, rewrite, retell, repay, artinya again or back. Gitu. Kemudian sub artinya below. Ada substance, subservice, submarine. Nah, itu artinya below marine berarti kan. Oke, kemudian micro means very small, microcomputer. Kemudian syn itu artinya sama, synchronize, synchronic, syn apa lagi? Yang depannya syn, SYN, itu artinya same. Oke, kemudian miss artinya wrong, misunderstood, misbehave, whatever it is. Kemudian over artinya above, kayak overcrowded. Post artinya after, kayak post-war. Pre artinya before, like I told you. Makanya ada precede. Kemudian ada pro artinya before. Ini pro ini sering sekali diantonimkan dengan against. Pro and against. Pro kan berarti in favor of. Setuju ya. Oke, against, tidak setuju. Kayak pro itu karena setuju, makanya ada proclaim. Oke, kemudian trans juga artinya across, transport. Makanya ada transport, because trans mean across. Oke, kemudian un juga sama artinya not, which means unclear misalnya, seperti itu. Nah itu, perhatikan juga root yang seperti ini, misalnya kayak alter itu artinya change, makanya ada alternative, another choice, another change gitu. Antro artinya human, makanya ada anthropology, ada aqua, makanya kemarin kita dapat kata apa dari Quizlet? Quotes ya, something related to water, right? Because ya karena katanya sendiri dari aqua gitu. Kemudian astro means star, makanya ada astronomer, astronomy. Auto artinya self, makanya ada automobile. Ada auto control, berarti self control, seperti itu. Jadi ini memahami ini, this is very important because you can get more words. Kemudian bio, kemudian chron means time, cycle means circle, makanya ada cycle, circle, demo means people. Kayak dick means to speak, to say that, makanya ada dictate. Ada equal itu means balance. Oke. Seperti itu, sama artinya equal. Ada extra, over, extraordinary, ada geo means earth, ada graph means to write, ada homo means same, makanya ada homograph misalnya, berarti oke. Ada hydro means water, ada hyper means extra or over, ada judic means law, makanya ada judical. Nah ini kata-kata yang sangat membantu untuk memahami academic reading ya. Kemudian ada lagi di sini library, ada free, makanya ada liberty. Kemudian log means study of, ada sociology, anthropology, biology. So because log means study of something. Oke, ada menu mean artinya hand, mana manufacture itu produced by hand. What is that? What is that?
Kitty bracelet.
I know.
Kitty necklace is so beautiful.
Like who? Like mommy?
Yeah.
Okay, could you please sit down over there?
Oh, you have some bracelet?
I have, but I don't want to wear that. Could you please wait? Could you please wait over there, honey? Okay, sorry, iklan dulu ya. Ada medi, it means middle, that kind of thing. So, it is important to understand those root. Kadang-kadang kita harus menganalisa rootnya. Sama kok, saya juga begitu. Apalagi saya yakin satu hal, kalian pasti lebih jago daripada saya di academic reading text itu. Karena background knowledge kalian jauh daripada saya. I mean, I am not that academic readers, right? I don't learn biology anymore. I don't learn history anymore. I don't learn that kind of academic subjects gitu. Jadi modalnya ya paling menganalisa root. Beda dengan kalian yang you still got background of knowledge. Background of knowledge-nya masih bagus sekali dengan hal-hal seperti itu. Jadi pasti kalian bisa. Oke? So please analyze the root to make sure that you got the meaning of. Jangan takut menganalisa root. Biasanya kalian nggak berani saja gitu kan, karena artinya apa? Padahal kalau dianalisa itu bisa. Kayak mono means one, oke, itu mort means mortal, death. Makanya ada mortal. Mortal means can die. Kalau ditambahin immortal ya cannot die gitu kan. Tone means voice, makanya ada phonology. Phonology is the study of voice or sounds. Ada foto. Foto itu artinya light. Makanya ada photosensitive. Poly artinya banyak ya, kamu tahu pasti ini mah. Kalau port artinya carry, makanya ada transport. Port itu sebenarnya artinya carry, ada transport. Transnya tadi artinya across. Jadi so carrying across places kan gitu. Oke. Transportation itu. Kemudian scope prime means first, the main point itu prime itu ya. Makanya ada prime minister. Scope means to view, makanya ada microscope. Scope itu to view, micro is small, so it is an instrument to view a small thing, kan gitu. Oke, kemudian script means written things, makanya ada tape script, something written on tape. Kemudian ada stimul, itu sama kayak homo, same things gitu. Jadi makanya ada simultaneous, which means same time, and so on. Oke, ada lagi. Nah ini juga sama. Jadi kita lihat tele means over, tempo means time, terra means land, terra itu means land, makanya ada terrain, and then track means to pull, makanya ada tractor. So an instrument, a machine that is used to pull something. Oke, kamu pasti tahu traktornya, tapi nggak ngeh ya kalau tracknya artinya to pull. Ketika suatu hari kamu dapat track, sebenarnya kamu bisa dihubungkan dengan traktor gitu. Nah itu, kamu tahu pasti traktor, tapi nggak ngeh ketika kamu dapat kata track. What is that? Well, it means actually to pull gitu. Oke. Kemudian this is fight, like fight means life, makanya ada vital, feed atau feed artinya to see, artinya visible seperti itu. Oke, makanya ada video kan, because video is seen. Nah ini suffixes, suffix juga begitu. Suffix juga kayak gitu. Jadi ada able, ya kamu tahu lah able berarti artinya mampu, kayak makanya lovable. Oke. Kemudian ada edible. Edible itu kan dari eat sama able, jadi edible. Oke. Ya, bisa dimakan. And then ada adjective like magical, Oke, ini jadi adjective. Oke. Kemudian ada ans, artinya dia jadi kata benda ya, presence, absence, kehadiran, ketidakhadiran. Oke, kehadiran itu presence, absence itu ketidakhadiran. Oke, sebenarnya yang dicatatkan adalah kehadiran ya, dan ketidakhadiran. Kalau yang tidak hadir tapi nggak bisa ngeklik sih. Oke, jangan lupa absensinya ya, nah itu sebenarnya salah ya. Jangan lupa ya melakukan presensi, nah terusnya seperti itu. Karena kalau yang absen dia nggak bisa ngeklik. Oke, kemudian yang and, in, noun artinya kayak student. Oke, kayak noun. Ini berarti kan kalau akhirannya int ya pasti itu kata benda. Seperti itu. Kadang-kadang kita nggak tahu, kita cari aja yang sejenis. Misalnya saya nggak tahu L ini apa ya, artinya akhir depan belakangnya L. Tapi karena yang lain L itu adjective, ya oke lah ini sepertinya adjective. Itu you have to be brave to do so. Kalau kata itu sangat penting sekali untuk kamu ketahui. Karena kadang-kadang when we are reading, kan kalau dalam tes, our purpose is to answer the questions, right? So, ya kata-kata itu jadi sangat penting sekali gitu. Pada tinggal aja, nggak usah dicari-cari. Biar aja. Oke, and then pick adjective. Ini seperti itu. Full juga jadi adjective. That's why you have playful, joyful, and then you have fine, like simplify, and good means state, conditions, and so on. Ini sampai halaman 35. You don't know what the word means, and that word is really important to your test. Kamu cari kata lain yang rootnya yang sejenis gitu. Yang sama. Oke, oh, ini suffixnya sama, kira-kira sama kata apa gitu, dan kata apa itu berarti noun. Kamu tahu kebetulan, ya udah gitu. Oke, paling enggak kamu tahu posisinya. Ini juga sama. Oke, sekarang kalian lihat pertanyaan. Ini terserah, do you wanna do it online di Zoom atau kita akhiri dulu Zoom-nya, terus kamu jawab pertanyaannya, foto saja, dan put that in e-learning, atau mau yang mana? Or you wanna do it in chat?
Pertanyaannya via
Okay,
apa?
so I have this. I have already shared dua-duanya, saya sudah I have already put that in bahan ajar e-learning, baik slide-nya maupun TOEFL questions. Ini question-nya, pertanyaannya yang saya berikan di e-learning. Kamu mau jawab sekarang, kamu buka, terus kamu jawab, kamu berikan di chat, atau saya kasih kolom saja di sana. Kasih kolom di e-learning aja, karena
Kolom.
I know it is taking time to read this one, right? Oke, kasih kolom saja. So, biar nggak terlalu memakan bandwidth credit ya. Okay, so let me just end the session. So I'm going to put, tulis jawabannya aja ya. You don't have to write, like you don't have to don't give me the file again. Like it's really hard for me to assess. So just give me the answer, number 1, number 2, number 1A, number 2 apa gitu. So that's all, and then take a picture of that. Okay?
Oke.
Mau di mana? Apa di ini aja ya, timeline e-learning kamu bisa pakai gambar nggak sih? Oh, tapi kalau time e-learning nanti semua lihat. Oke, dan nanti saya buka aja di tugas ya. Okay, that's all for today. If you have any question, please, I let you ask question first. You want to ask question? Intinya adalah the more you practice, the better your